We watched our wedding video on our anniversary. In one shot, his best man whispered something in his ear, and they both looked at me and laughed. I read his lips. I've watched that 3-second clip 40 times. My wife was in surgery. Her phone kept buzzing in the waiting room. I finally looked. Someone named M had texted, "Is he still with you? Call me when you're alone." My mother-in-law's lawyer accidentally sent me a letter meant for my husband. It started with, "You have to tell her the truth before I'm gone. She deserves to know what you did." For our 10th anniversary, my husband took me to a new restaurant. The waiter smiled and said, "Welcome back, your usual table." We had never been there together. Hi, I'm Maya. On this channel, we analyze real relationship cases, cheating suspicions, red flags. Am I overreacting? Questions. Today's 4 cases all share one thing, a single moment that cracked open a secret, a 3-second clip in a wedding video. A text message that arrived while a wife was on an operating table. A letter that was never supposed to be read by the person who read it. And a waiter who recognized a husband in a restaurant his wife had never been to. In each case, we'll ask, what does this evidence actually mean? And what should the person holding it do next? If you have a relationship situation you'd like me to analyze anonymously in a future video, you can send it to the email in the description. Please remove real names, private details, and anything that could identify you or another person. This channel is not professional therapy. It's for relationship analysis and discussion. But your story may help someone else feel less alone. Let's get started. We watched our wedding video on our anniversary. In one shot, his best man whispered something in his ear, and they both looked at me and laughed. I read his lips. I've watched that 3-second clip 40 times. For our 5th anniversary, my husband and I watched our wedding video. In one background shot, his best man leans in, whispers something, and they both glance at me and laugh. I rewound it. Then again, I slowed it down and read his lips. I'm almost certain of what he said, and it wasn't a joke about the cake. My husband noticed me rewinding and suddenly said we should watch something else. I've watched that 3-second clip 40 times since. Am I building a story out of nothing, or did I see exactly what I think I saw? On the surface, the visible problem is 3 seconds of old footage. A whisper at a wedding 5 years ago, caught in the background of a video that was never meant to be studied frame by frame. That was never meant to be studied frame by frame. A best man leaning in, 2 men glancing at the bride, a shared laugh. That's the entire piece of evidence, but 2 things have happened since. First, she read his lips, and whatever she saw was disturbing enough that she's rewatched the clip 40 times. Second, and more importantly, when her husband noticed her rewinding, he suddenly wanted to watch something else. The footage is old, his reaction is new, and in this case, the reaction may matter more than the whisper itself. Here's what's really going on beneath the surface. This case isn't really about what the best man said 5 years ago. It's about what that moment has become now, a crack in the story she believed about her own wedding day. Weddings are supposed to be the one day where everything is exactly what it looks like. Finding a hidden moment inside that day retroactively rewrites her memory of it. That's why she's watched it 40 times. She isn't looking for new information anymore. She's trying to make the clip say something different than what she thinks it says. That loop, rewatch, doubt, rewatch, is what unresolved suspicion does to a person. The evidence never changes, but the need for it to change keeps growing. And then there's his reaction. If the whisper had been an innocent joke, the natural response to a wife rewinding a wedding video would be curiosity. What are you looking at? Or nostalgia. Instead, he redirected, "Let's watch something else," is a small sentence, but in that moment, it functioned as a door quietly closing. He may have recognized the moment on screen. He may simply have sensed her tension, but either way, he moved away from it instead of toward it. But either way, he moved away from it instead of toward it. Could this be innocent? Absolutely. And it's important to say that clearly. Lip reading from a background shot of an old video is genuinely unreliable. Best men whisper crude jokes all the time. The glance and laugh could have been about anything. On its own, this is firmly in gray area territory. The glance and laugh could have been about anything. On its own, this is firmly in gray area territory. But when these factors come together, the specific words she believes she read, the fact that they both looked directly at her before laughing, and above all, her husband's sudden urge to change what they were watching, the gray area gets more complicated. The whisper alone proves nothing. The redirect is what keeps this case open. If there's genuinely nothing there, the conversation about it should cost him nothing. There's also a risk worth naming on her side. 40 rewatches of a 3-second clip is no longer investigation, it's rumination. Whatever the truth is, the loop she's in is harming her more than the clip is informing her. In this situation, the boundary statement that could be used is, "There's a moment in our wedding video that's been bothering me. The whisper with your best man. I'd rather feel silly asking than keep wondering. What did he say?" This is honest, low accusation, and specific. It gives him the chance to give an innocent answer, and her the chance to watch how he answers, which in this case may be the most informative evidence of all. Sometimes the moment that haunts us isn't the one we witnessed, it's the one we found later, hiding inside a memory we thought we knew. Do you think the real red flag is the whisper or his reaction? Let me know in the comments. Now let's look at the second case. My wife was in surgery. Her phone kept buzzing in the waiting room. I finally looked. Someone named M had texted, "Is he still with you? Call me when you're alone." 2 weeks ago, my wife had a planned surgery. I sat in the waiting room holding her things. Her phone kept buzzing, 6, 7 times. I finally glanced at the screen. A contact saved as just M had written, "Is he still with you? Call me when you're alone." I sat there for 4 hours holding that phone while she was on the operating table. When she woke up, I kissed her forehead and said everything went well. She's recovering now. I haven't said a word. How do you confront someone you were terrified of losing an hour earlier? On the surface, the visible problem is a text message from an unnamed contact. "Is he still with you? Call me when you're alone." 12 words on a locked screen. Seen from someone saved only as M. That's the evidence. But this case has a second layer that makes it unlike almost any other: the timing. He read those words while his wife was unconscious on an operating table, in the exact hours when he was most afraid of losing her. The discovery and the fear arrived at the same moment, and they've been tangled together ever since. Here's what's really going on beneath the surface. The message itself is genuinely alarming in its structure. "Is he still with you?" means M knows exactly who he is and tracks his presence. "Call me when you're alone" means the conversation they need to have cannot happen in front of him. Whatever this is, it is organized around his absence. That's not the shape of an ordinary friendship checking in before a surgery, but the deeper dynamic in this case is his side of it. For 4 hours, he held that phone and rehearsed 2 futures at once. One where he loses her on the table, and one where he confronts her after. When she woke up, relief won. He kissed her forehead and buried the message. And now, 2 weeks later, he's discovering what everyone in this position discovers. Buried evidence doesn't decompose, it waits. There's also a cruel structural trap here. She is recovering from surgery, vulnerable, dependent, physically fragile. Every day he waits feels justified. Not now, she's healing. But every day he waits also deepens his own silent performance. He is now the one maintaining a secret, smiling through recovery check-ins, playing a role. The longer this continues, the more the marriage contains 2 hidden things instead of 1. Could this be innocent? It's possible, and the possibilities deserve a fair hearing. M could be a sister or close friend planning something he isn't supposed to know about. A surprise, a family matter, even a concern about him. Call me when you're alone appears in innocent contexts more often than people think. But when these factors come together, the anonymized single-letter contact name. The tracking question, is he still with you? And the instruction to call only when alone. With 6 or 7 messages in urgent succession, this sits at the darker edge of the gray zone. Innocent secrets usually don't require this much operational security. And a single letter as a contact name is a choice, not an accident. What this case does not permit is indefinite silence. The message is too specific to unsee. And his own behavior, the daily performance of normalcy, is already changing the marriage whether he speaks or not. In this situation, the boundary statement that could be used, timed with care for her recovery, is, when you were in surgery, your phone kept buzzing, and I saw a message from someone saved as M. I've been carrying it for 2 weeks because I didn't want to upset you while you were healing. I'm not accusing you, but I need you to tell me honestly what that was. This names what he saw, explains the delay without apology, and asks for honesty. Rather than delivering a verdict, it also ends his own secret, which, at this point, is the only part of this situation he actually controls. Sometimes the hardest part of finding a secret isn't the secret itself. It's discovering that keeping it quiet slowly turns you into a person with a secret too. Was he right to wait until she recovered, or does waiting make the eventual conversation even harder? Let me know in the comments. Now let's hear another case. My mother-in-law's lawyer accidentally sent me a letter meant for my husband. It started with, "You have to tell her the truth before I'm gone. She deserves to know what you did." My mother-in-law is in hospice care. Last week, her lawyer's office mailed a letter to our address. Addressed to my husband, but I opened it by mistake with the other bills. It was a personal letter she'd dictated. The first line, "You have to tell her the truth before I'm gone. She deserves to know what you did." I stopped reading. I sealed it in a new envelope and left it on his desk. He read it that night, said nothing, and burned it in the fireplace. It's been 6 days. What truth? What did he do? On the surface, the visible problem is one sentence from a dying woman. You have to tell her the truth before I'm gone. She deserves to know what you did. A letter dictated to a lawyer, meant for her son, opened by accident by the very person the letter is about. And then the second event, which is arguably larger than the first. He read it, said nothing, and burned it. Not filed it, not hid it, burned it. The letter asked him to reveal a truth. His answer was to destroy the request. Here's what's really going on beneath the surface. This case contains something rare. A third party, his own mother, confirming that a significant secret exists. This isn't a wife interpreting a whisper or a text. A dying woman used some of her remaining time and her lawyer's office to put one demand in writing: tell her the truth. Whatever what you did refers to, his mother considers it serious enough that she doesn't want to die with it still hidden. That reframes everything. The question is no longer, is there a secret? There is. The question is only what it is and how long it has lived inside this marriage. The burning is the second layer. He doesn't know she read the first line. As far as he knows, she saw a sealed envelope. So the burning wasn't a performance for her. It was private. It was his genuine, unobserved answer to his mother's dying request. No. That tells us the secret is something he has actively decided she must never know, even with the moral weight of a deathbed request pressing on him. And she, meanwhile, has been living for 6 days inside an impossible sentence. She deserves to know what you did, with no verb, no object, no timeline. The mind fills a void like that with worst cases. That is its own form of suffering. Could this be less dark than it sounds? It's worth trying. The truth could predate the marriage entirely. Something about his past, his family, the circumstances of how they met. It could involve money, an inheritance matter, a family secret. Not every deathbed secret is an affair. But when these factors come together, a mother spending her final energy on this demand, the phrase, "she deserves to know," which frames the secret as an injustice against the wife specifically, and above all, the burning of the letter, the innocent range narrows. People don't burn letters about administrative matters. They burn things they've decided to take to their own grave. One more thing must be said clearly. This secret now has a countdown attached to it. His mother, possibly the only other person who knows the truth, is dying. If he stays silent, the truth may become permanently unverifiable. That changes the urgency of the conversation. In this situation, the boundary statement that could be used is, "When I opened the mail by mistake, I saw the first line of your mother's letter before I realized it wasn't for me. I know she asked you to tell me something. I watched you burn it. I'm not going anywhere tonight, and I'm not yelling, but I am asking you, once, to tell me the truth she wanted me to hear." This removes his assumption that she knows nothing, names the burning without dramatizing it, and puts the request where his mother put it as something she is owed. Some secrets don't stay buried because they're small. They stay buried because someone tends the grave every single day. Should she tell him she read the first line or wait and try to learn the truth from his mother while there's still time? Let me know in the comments. Now let's look at a different situation. For our 10th anniversary, my husband took me to a new restaurant. The waiter smiled and said, "Welcome back, your usual table." We had never been there together. For our 10th anniversary, my husband surprised me with dinner at a restaurant I'd never heard of. As we walked in, the waiter smiled warmly and said, "Welcome back, your usual table." My husband laughed it off. He must be confusing me with someone. But the waiter had already picked up 2 menus and started walking toward a corner table by the window. Like he'd done it many times. My husband ordered without opening the menu. I smiled through all 3 courses. We had never been there together. So who has he been there with? On the surface, the visible problem is a waiter's greeting. "Welcome back, your usual table." 6 words from a stranger spoken in the first 10 seconds of an anniversary dinner. Her husband's explanation was ready instantly. The waiter must have confused him with someone else. But the evidence didn't stop at the greeting. The waiter picked up 2 menus without asking. He walked to a specific corner table like a routine. And then the detail that outweighs everything else, her husband ordered without opening the menu. A man who has never been to a restaurant does not know what he wants there. Mistaken identity doesn't explain a memorized order. Here's what's really going on beneath the surface. This case is unusual because the evidence arrived in layers, each one quietly contradicting the explanation given for the last. The greeting could be a mistake. 2 menus could be habit. The usual table could be coincidence. But the unopened menu belongs to a different category. It's not something the waiter did. It's something her husband did. His own body confirmed familiarity with a place he claimed was new to both of them. And there's a second dynamic that's easy to miss, the choice of venue itself. He brought her, on their 10th anniversary, to a place he apparently knows well and she has never heard of. If he has been coming here with someone, then bringing his wife to the same corner table is staggering carelessness. Or something stranger, 2 separate lives becoming so routine that he forgot which one he was living that night. Then there's her side, 3 full courses of smiling. She sat at what may be someone else's usual table on her own anniversary, performing happiness while her mind ran calculations. That performance, hers, not his, is where the real damage of that night lives. Could this be innocent? Let's genuinely try. He could be a regular there for work, client lunches, business dinners, and welcome back, plus a usual table would be completely consistent with that. The unopened menu, too. Under this reading, his only real mistake was the clumsy denial, instead of simply saying, "Oh, I come here with clients sometimes." And that's exactly where the case pivots. The restaurant familiarity alone is a gray area with a plausible work explanation. But the lie, the instant, unnecessary denial, is the part that resists innocent explanation. A man with client lunches has no reason to hide them. The denial converts neutral evidence into suspicious evidence. When these factors come together, the recognition, the usual table, the memorized order, and above all, a denial that his own behavior contradicted within minutes, this leans firmly toward red flag. The question is no longer whether he's been there, it's why he lied about it. In this situation, the boundary statement that could be used is, the waiter knew you. You had a usual table and you ordered without looking at the menu. I'm not asking whether you've been there before. We both know you have. I'm asking why you told me you hadn't. This skips the unwinnable argument about facts and goes directly to the only real question, the lie. It's calm, precise, and leaves room for an explanation, but not for a second denial. Sometimes the most honest witness in a marriage is a stranger who has no idea he just said something important. Which detail convinced you? The waiter's greeting or the menu he never opened? Let me know in the comments. 4 cases, 4 accidental discoveries. A whisper hiding inside a wedding video for 5 years. A text message that arrived while a wife was on an operating table. A dying mother's letter that was burned instead of answered. And a waiter who, with 6 friendly words, said more than a husband had said in 10 years. Here's the pattern connecting all 4. None of these people went looking for a secret. The secrets found them through a rewind button, a buzzing phone, a misdelivered envelope, a stranger's greeting. And in every single case, the discovery created the same impossible question. What do I do with what I now know? If there's one takeaway tonight, it's this. Evidence you carry in silence doesn't protect the relationship, so it just moves the secret from their side of the marriage to yours. The truth was already in the room. The only choice is whether it gets spoken. Which case hit closest to home for you? If you're going through a situation similar to one of these, or you have your own relationship story you'd like me to analyze anonymously, you can send it to the email in the description. Please keep it anonymous. No real names, addresses, or identifying personal details. I may use selected stories in future videos to analyze relationship dynamics, patterns, and red flags. This is not therapy, and I can't provide personal crisis counseling. But sometimes seeing a situation clearly is the first step toward understanding what's really happening. I'm Maya. See you in the next one.